We both learned from the experience, and some of it we have both inherited, which is only natural. So our political system is very similar to yours. We also have a parliamentary democracy, just as Belize has. The only difference is that India is a republic. Republic means that the head of state in India is elected from among the nationals of the country, whereas in your case, the head of state remains the queen of, or the monarch of in Britain, UK. But apart from that, we have a very similar system. Of course, the other significant difference, naturally, is the size. Our parliament is much bigger, but that is understandable given the size of India's population.
We talked about the celebrations, and one question in relation to Independence Day. As you know, the struggle for independence started approximately for a period of 17 years from the day of self-government, and eventually independence came for Belize. During that course of time, several countries came to the aid of Belize to an extent, saying, you know, we will support your independence. For example, General Omar Torrijos of Panama and also Cuba, they were strongholds in saying Belize should proceed with its claim for independence, its inalienable rights, and giving all the justification why independence is best for Belize. At that time, do you know if India was also supporting Belize for independence?
Yes, in fact, I think it is. It may be of interest to your viewers to put it somewhat in a historical perspective. India's colonial experience in certain ways was unique. Unique in the sense that there was the British Empire, and they said that sun never set on the British Empire because it was spread all around the globe. And they also said that India was the jewel in the crown, because India was the largest colony that Britain had for a large number of years, for almost 2 centuries. And our independence struggle was very long drawn. We had in 1857 our first war of independence. Then after a lull, we had a different kind of era in which English education was introduced. Indians started going to Britain for higher education, modern education, so to say. And then they came back and they imbibed some of the values that were a common currency in Britain. The concept, various concepts of democracy, freedom, rights, and many of them in fact went and studied law. So they came back and they joined the national freedom struggle, which started in a way in 1885 with the Constitution of Indian National Congress, not as a political party at the time, but the real momentum to that struggle was imparted in 1915 when Mahatma Gandhi came back from South Africa to India, and then he led the country's independence struggle. So from 1915 to 1947, for 32 years, it was a constant struggle, a very serious struggle. And 1947, after the Second World War, we gained our independence. Now, India was not the first country to gain independence, but India's independence in many, many ways heralded the beginning of the end of the colonial era in the world. Because India's independence really gave impetus, in every sense of the word, to similar process being followed in a large number of countries which were colonies of various countries around the world, in Africa and Asia. And for India, right from the beginning, after we gained our independence, in fact even from before that, it was a matter of faith to fight for, to support similar independence struggles in various countries around the world. So decolonization was one of the basic articles of faith for India, and we worked for it actively after we gained our independence. And of course, in the same process, there was no question of India not supporting Belize's similar aspirations.
Right. We thank you very much for that vivid, clear explanation of how India got started out and the fight and the struggle and the continuation in terms of supporting the countries, even though Belize is so small, so delicate, and India still came to the forefront and said, yes, as part of the decolonization process, we are endorsing Belize's right to proceed for independence. So we do appreciate that support. Now here we are, High Commissioner Jain, where Belize has gone 28 years now. In terms of independence for other parts of the world, we're still one of the youngest. India is a huge country. It's got a great population. I was made to understand, for example, that India is heavily leading the world in technology and software. Belize needs assistance in various areas, like, for example, training, cultural exchanges, maybe trade. Do you see those things coming to fruition in regards to Belize, where India, through yourself, can say, this is where we want to do for Belize, and this is what Belize can do for India? What areas do you think India can assist and Belize can assist India?
Let me first thank you for your kind words about my country. Having said that, short answer to your query is most definitely. In fact, in all my meetings with your leaders and even otherwise, while I've been in your country this time and in my first visit, this has been the constant refrain in my discussions. What all can we do together?
That's right.
Which includes technical and economic cooperation, development partnership, lines of credit, training and education facilities in India, joint ventures and investment, letting our bilateral business grow, more exchanges at people's level, at all levels, but particularly people's level, because we find not only great similarities but also a certain empathy between India and Belize. We are both Commonwealth countries, we are both non-aligned countries, we are both developing countries, we have both had similar experiences, and we feel a sense of kinship with Belize from almost right across the globe from India. And we are certainly interested in strengthening our relations with Belize right across the board. I find perfect echo for these sentiments in Belize. We have enjoyed all these years very warm and cordial friendly relations between India and Belize. We have supported each other in international fora. But the distance remains a factor, and I'm trying to work to overcome its implications. And therefore, I'm working on various ideas and projects in the various areas that you mentioned and I mentioned just now.
Well, what is interesting is that you are in such a leadership capacity because you have to deal with 3 countries, and the 3 countries are neighbors: Belize, Guatemala,